Can the Sun Belt ball? Welcome to the Voice of College Football, breaking down the game we all love each and every day with you. Best discussion, debate, and analysis of college football. Please lock it in. Subscribe. Hit that bell for the notifications to know when we go live, which is every day on at least one, typically several of our team channels right here at the Voice of College Football. We're breaking down the conferences one by one. We typically just do the Power 5 and compare the results of the previous season, but our off-season project has expanded this particular offseason. We are including all 10 conferences in our rankings and bringing into play, of course, everybody in the FBS, all 130 teams based on our 1 through 130 rankings. Check out those rankings and check out as well the initial video in which I explain the point system. We have arrived at the Sun Belt Conference 24-20 non-conference record. That means 24 wins and 20 losses against all the other conferences, plus the FCS. FCS record at 8-1. That's typically been a plus 90% for even the group of five have been in that range. 1-12 against the Power 5. Doesn't look good, but we'll dive into the results because that could, of course, we don't expect the Sun Belt to have a winning record against the Power 5. It's just not going to happen. It's not even going to be close. Never has been. But 1-12 could be a bit rough, but we'll check out the results here in just a second. Good sign, indicator for the Sun Belt faring decently in our rankings would be 15-7 against Group of 5. So 15-7 against its peers, and again, 8-1 against the FCS. Let's look at the wins. First and foremost, the one win that stands out as being a team that beat a higher-ranked team would be 159 points going to Louisiana Monroe, upsetting Liberty. So that's a big win for the Sun Belt. Otherwise, a lot of quality wins include South Alabama over Southern Miss, and South Alabama also knocked off Bowling Green. You've got a win coming in from Troy over Southern Miss as well. Appalachian State with a couple big wins over East Carolina and also over Marshall. And, of course, Coastal Carolina gets its slew of wins, most notably against Northern Illinois, the champion of the MAC Conference, that in the Cure Bowl as Coastal Carolina held on for a 47-41 win. There you see a number of other wins as they drop below the 100-point level. And, again, check out the inaugural video to understand the point system. But Coastal Carolina went a clean sweep, 5-0, of its non-conference games to help out the Sun Belt rating, although most of those games against lesser teams like Buffalo, the Citadel, Kansas, and UMass. Louisiana, of course, lost the non-conference game to Texas, but other than that, 4 big wins for Louisiana over Nichols, Ohio, Marshall, and Liberty. And on down the road, Appalachian State in winning 10 games, won 3 non-conference games. Let's check out the losses for the Sun Belt Conference. And as we see in just about all of these teams, non-conference, they play brutal non-conference schedules because they are playing a group of 5 schedule during the conference regular season. Therefore, they load up on the big paydays against the Power 5 in September. Let's check them out. Worst losses in terms of seeding, losing to an FCS school, Incarnate Word with one of the better quarterbacks in that level of play, of course, but that is a 200-point loss for Texas State. And then you see bad losses to a certain extent, depending on how you judge it here. Louisiana, the 25th ranked team in the country, loses to number 60 Texas. So Louisiana, I ranked them much lower than the AP and the coaches polls, but still number 25 in the country loses to Texas, number 60 at 5-7. That's a big loss for the Sun Belt. Appalachian State in the bowl game against Bailey Zappi in Western Kentucky loses as well. Other 100-point losses include Army beat Georgia State. North Carolina takes care of Georgia State. Auburn over Georgia State as well. So Georgia State competed pretty well in those games, but they lose 3 tough ones to Army, North Carolina, and Auburn. There you see the Eastern Michigan win over Texas State as well. And then there's a ton of games in which low-ranked Sun Belt teams, some of the bottom 20 to 25 teams in the country, are losing to the likes of Arkansas, BYU, Baylor beating Texas State, so that's barely shows up on the radar there. Kentucky, LSU, Tennessee, South Carolina, some of the top teams in the country that defeated Sun Belt teams as they lost again, 12 to the Power 5 and 7 to the Group of 5. So when you add it all up, this is what you get out of the Sun Belt. 1,563 positive points, 1,852 negative points. So the negative outweighs the positive for the Sun Belt. What does that mean? Minus 289 for the Sun Belt Conference in going 24-20 against the rest of college football. Your thoughts down below on the Sun Belt performance. Louisiana, Coastal Carolina, and of course, Appalachian State are at the top of the board. And we will put it all together as we make our way through all 10 conferences, put the math together. And again, this is a judgment evaluation on the results on the field for 2021. Nothing to do with talent or projections or predictions or what should have happened, but what actually did happen on the field in 2021, right here at the Voice of College Football.